Did you feel that power surge? It was like a mirror. Where's Luther? Where's my personal guard? Oh, lot. Long live the empire. Welcome to the Imperial Sharpe Boy Show number 666. So happy you've all been authorized to watch this transmission. A little bit past 7 p.m. Imperial time, and happy that you have taken the time to come here and understand that shows like this are critical. Long live the empire. We have to be sure that we understand the value that we have here, the value, and we should know that the empire provides, and we trust the system. The shakeup that we had with this power surge. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened in the power surge, but we're here now, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters, that we are here now. And I was thinking, what could I speak about? What could I talk about today that and I thought, you know what? There are some people now who are, I'd say, a little bit worrisome. Maybe that's the word I will use. A little doubtful, or perhaps a little yippy. And they shouldn't be. That's the issue. They shouldn't be. Because we really have to know that when times seem a little bit challenging, the empire will provide. That's what I'll say. The empire, without question, has done 3 things very well. Number 1, it provides safety. Number 2, it provides harmony. And number 3, it provides democracy. So I would ask you this question. Don't we want harmony in our world? Don't we want to raise our families in a way that shows that we can all get along, be happy, grow our businesses, grow our families? Of course. How can we do that without the empire providing the police force, the regulations, the things that keep everything moving in harmony? Of course. Of course that's true. And sometimes when we don't get that, we feel bad. We feel, do I want to report somebody? And you should. Remember, report dangerous people. 666 Empire 1. That is the number to report dissidents who get in the way of harmony, who make your life harder because of their selfishness. They want their freedom, and they don't care if you hurt. That's how selfish they are. Don't be selfish. Don't do that. Support your empire. 666 Empire 1, when you see the dissidents, when you see them doing it, you know you see them. They're the ones who stop us from becoming harmonious. This is what our empire provides for us. But not just that. It provides safety along with that. You don't want your children to be in a spot where they get harmed by people who aren't like you. That's not the right answer. I know some of you say, but Larry, the empire sometimes can be aggressive in how it takes out people, attacks people, puts them in jail. You're right. You're right. Sometimes it is. It's true. But how else can we be sure that our patriotic citizens are safe without the sometimes the strong arm of the law that you vote for? Because in reality, what the empire also does is provide you with democracy. You might say, wait a minute, democracy? Yes, of course. How else can you get the great leadership that the empire provides without the appropriate candidates that the empire provides to you to vote? Of course. You don't want anybody running for office. Then they're in charge and they will create chaos. You cannot have that. So instead, the empire provides you with appropriate democracy. Without it, you know what you'd have? You'd have tyranny. You'd have tyranny of the majority all over you. You don't want that. No one does. This is why the empire survives so long. This is why we've been able to keep power so long. The empire provides those things, and people flock here. They rush to the empire because they know it gives them safety. It gives them harmony. It gives them democracy. We can now democratize all of society. How in the world could we democratize? How can we stop the oligarchs from taking over as they've done in so many places? How can we stop the oligarchs from taking over in so many places without government to step in and to stop them? Because they are also selfish. They're also selfish. These people who would take your money and provide you with nothing in return. The empire always provides you in return. Do the oligarchs? They don't. Who will stop them? You on your own? You can't. But with the power of the empire, you can. This is how the empire democratizes society. Is it fair? Is it fair? Fairness is democracy. They're the same. It's equity. It's the same. It's the same. How can you get equity? How can you get equity when some people have so much and some people have so few? Who will equalize that for you? Some oligarch? Some capitalist? They're going to do that for you? When? Never. Who will do it? The empire will. The empire will ensure equity. The empire will ensure this for you. And all it requires is your loyalty. That's it. Your loyalty. Loyalty to the empire is all. Trust the system is all it asks. That's it. The empire does provide. You must trust the system. You may say, wait a minute, Larry. There have been some problems. True. You're right. The empire is not perfect. This is true. No one is. No one is. Perhaps Jesus. But even Jesus supported the empire. Jesus said, give unto Caesar what is his. Jesus knew the empire was the way. Jesus was an imperialist, clearly in everything he said. He wanted equity. He wanted the everyone to be fair. He wanted fairness and equity. He believed in Caesar. I would ask you, if you hate the empire, why do you hate Jesus? Are you anti-Christian? Is that who you are? The empire supports Christianity. It supports Jesus. Jesus supports the empire. Never forget that. When you're sitting there trying to be righteous, when the dissidents lie to you, let them know they are against Jesus when they fight against the empire. They are against Jesus when they fight against the empire. They're anti-Christian. That is who they are. That's who the dissidents are. Now, you might say to yourself, wait a minute, Larry. There have been problems. There have been. This is still an empire in the mundane world. It still is an empire in the mundane world. That's true. And there are dissidents, and there are problems. But there are also liars. There are liars. Don't fall for their lies. You have heard already, you've heard it, the dissident known as Steen. You know the one. All lies. Made up to divide us, to break us up. That's what that's made for. Lies made to break us up. Don't let the dissident known as Steen and all of his horrible cohorts break us up. Unity is what keeps the empire strong. Trust is what keeps the empire strong. Do you want to be strong or do you want to be weak? They make you weak. They make you weak. The empire makes you strong. If you want to be loyal, do the right thing. Show your loyalty to the empire. This is absolutely authorized transmission. So press the like button. Show your loyalty. You are loyal, aren't you? Aren't you? This is the Imperial Sharpe Show, number 666. You are loyal, aren't you? If you are, show it. We're watching. If you are, show it. We're watching. For the glory of the empire, share this transmission. Share it everywhere so everyone can know the power and the glory of an authorized transmission. Those other transmissions are not authorized. They're not authorized by the empire. That's why they're lies. That's why they're lies. And don't be selfish. You want to sacrifice for the greater good. You can join this transmission. You can. Join it. Hit the join button. You can do so. Sacrifice for the greater good. That's what the empire desires. It's what the empire asks of you. You can do so. And what do you get in return? You know what you get. Safety, harmony, democracy, equity is what you get in return. We understand this. And when the dissidents lie to you, the dissident known as Stein, you know him. When you see his ilk, Those who say things like, oh, he was a bad guy and he was real and he did this. All lies, all stories told again and again and again. So many of them. When you see those people, remember, report them. 666 Empire 1. This is your duty as a loyal citizen of the empire. Loyal citizen of the empire. Let me grab some comments if I could. Some of you are having comments. Great. Rick says, for the Terran Empire. Thank you. Thank you, loyal citizen. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yes. Shelly says, and they call New York the Empire State. So that's freaky too. Well, yes, of course. We are an empire. Of course. Yes. Why wouldn't we? Of course. All good. All good. That's true. So Michael says, Romulan salute. It's the Empire salute. Long live the Empire. Of course. You know this, Michael. Of course. You wouldn't not want to salute me, would you? Right? I hope so. Missy knows. Hello, all you authoritarian government lovers. Look, I know some of you think authoritarianism is a bad thing. I know some of you do. I get it. It feels bad. It does feel bad. It does. But in reality, what does it give you? It gives you the freedom you need. This is the part that some of you get wrong. Some of you get wrong. The empire provides freedom. Freedom from decision. Freedom from the pain of choice. Freedom from having to care. Freedom to do as you feel without having to harm others because there's no reason and no way to harm others, right? This is the entire glory of our gun control policies that the empire has implemented. Has done nothing but made people safer. Now, will you find some horrible dissidents who will sometimes grab illegal weapons that are not authorized by the empire and create horrible crimes? Yes, but that's because those people are dissidents. Those people are probably not even citizens. Shouldn't be. We should remove them. We should physically remove them from our society, and we try. But what's the problem? Sometimes we will find an issue to where people don't want to support. They don't want to support the system. They won't call 666 Empire 1. They won't do that. And that's why they fail. That's why those people get those unauthorized illegal guns, Missy. You know it. Because we, as citizens, fail the empire by not calling that number and making sure it happens. That's the issue. So, yes. Sorry. Sometimes you guys get me upset, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. Liar for Emperor. Of course not. I am a loyal supporter of the empire, and I would never jump the line. Never. Correct. John says, oh, it's commerce. No, okay, let's be clear. Commerce is fine, John. I don't want you to think commerce is bad. Authorized commerce is wonderful. Commerce running through the system is a wonderful way of doing it. Of course it is. We do want that to happen. Look, how in the world can you have safe, harmonious commerce without the empire protecting the sea lanes, without the empire creating the court system, without the empire regulating the markets? How do we stop the oligarchs from taking over? Without the empire breaking them up and taking them and seizing their assets and putting them in prison? How can we have that without it? How can we make sure that the weakest among us, John, get the things we want if we don't redistribute wealth? And who will redistribute wealth without the empire? You won't. You can't. The empire can, because the empire cares, because the empire provides you with the safety, the harmony, and democracy that you need to make commerce fair. To make commerce moral requires the empire. And I notice some of you who have seen some things that you probably shouldn't have seen. To be very full, you probably shouldn't have seen. And I'm going to bring this up right now if I could, because I know some of you probably shouldn't have seen this, but maybe you have. Maybe you have, and you probably shouldn't have, but I'm going to bring it up anyway if I could. Hold on. I'm going to show you this. And some of you are going to be like, wait a minute, is this something real? Now, I'm authorized to show you this for a very specific reason. I am authorized to show you this for a very specific reason. These are counterinsurgents. Yes, they are counterinsurgents. There is a company out there called Civil, CIVL.com. They are counterinsurgents. When you go on, I'm going to show you to go on their site. When you go on their site and you see the garbage they are actually showing you, I want you to call that number on the bottom of the screen, 666 Empire 1, and report them. We have to stop. We don't know. Sadly, we don't know where they're getting this from. I don't know how they're doing it. And look, there's lots of stuff going on. We have wars we're trying to fight, people we're trying to deal with. It's a challenge. The empire needs your help here. The empire needs your help. Here is one of the dissidents. Her name is Caitlin Long. She believes that we should have economic freedom. What you're talking about, John, this woman, this dissident who hides, she hides in Wyoming. She hides in Wyoming.
Who is Caitlin Long?
Yes.
And why do the powers that be want to shut her down?
They know we're after her. They know we are.
Imagine that you're a banker leading a 2-decade-long prolific career on Wall Street, and then the 2008 financial crisis erupts. Suddenly you peek behind the veil and see that the world isn't as it seems. Your curiosity leads you to discover that our entire financial system is built on a house of cards.
Lies upon lies upon lies. We all know the empire has created the Fed to support our commerce, to support our empire. There is no way you can have an economy without a national bank. We all know this to be true. There is no other way. The Fed is required for us to have the harmony that you want. You want the harmony? You want the safety? It requires a Fed. Caitlin Long is a dissident. She's a traitor, and we have to stop her. So I want you to go on Civil, CIVL.com. When you go there, when you sign up, right-hand corner, pop in the code Larry. That's how we know. That's how we know who got there and who's good and who's not. You don't put Larry in there, and when we break them, you may be going to jail too. So don't be silly. Put the code in to save yourself as you head on out there and stop these dissidents. This is the free speech we do not want. This is dangerous speech. 666 Empire 1. Stop the dissidents. Counter the insurgents. Civil.com. Stop them. This is the most important piece we've seen. Absolutely. Alrighty. Ganjian says this version of Larry is making me a Trump supporter. As it should. As it should. 100%. As it should. Michael says, I hear and I obey. You know, this is what I get. This is the right answer. Right? We act as if somehow service is bad. Service is great. Service shows how unselfish you are. And Michael, you have shown that you are not selfish, that you are selfless, that you are altruistic, that you will give and sacrifice for others. Do you see the capitalists do that? No, they don't do that. But the imperial subjects do. That's why we're strong. That's why we're strong. Duke of Hex, thank you for the $2. Dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery, always. Well, I get your point, but it's not real. I mean, it's not really slavery. I mean, you're exaggerating with that, of course, right? You're exaggerating, of course. What you mean is, I know what you mean, Duke of Hex. I know, because I know where you live. So I know what you mean. What you mean is not peaceful slavery, but you mean peaceful coexistence. That's what you mean, right? You mean peaceful coexistence. Being too free to do whatever you want is selfish. Being free to do whatever you want is not even thoughtful. Being free to do what you want is dangerous. We don't want those things. You want freedom from things. You want freedom from starvation. The empire ensures you don't starve. You don't starve. It's true. You don't. You don't starve. The empire ensures that you don't get so much that you become greedy. The empire makes you free from greed, free from the vices of greed, free from the vices of pride. Again, I said before, Jesus supported the empire. The empire supports Christianity. The empire blocks you and frees you from sin. We should all be happy we have an empire. We should all be happy that it supports us. It provides us with what we need, the safety, the harmony, and democratization that we need to keep our society better, to keep our society stronger. Long live the empire. We should know this. Trust the empire. It provides. It provides all the freedom you need. You know this. We all know this. It provides all the freedom that you need. Yes. Wadecombe says, libertarianism is altruistic, but not on purpose. That's not true. Libertarianism? Libertarianism is a cancer. How would you say that? This is about freedom. Libertarianism creates chaos. It creates chaos. Wade, I hope you're teasing me, because if you're not, 666, Empire 1. There may be a knock on your door, Wade. Maybe you require some more re-education. I'm glad you're watching this show at least, because maybe you'll learn. Maybe you'll learn. What will libertarianism give you? What will it give you? You have to make all your own choices? What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong for your family? What if you're wrong for those around you? Why are you so selfish, Wade? Why do you not care about your community? Why do you not care about your nation? Why do you not care about your family? Why do you not care about anybody but yourself? You're a selfish libertarian. Shame on you. Maybe you shouldn't be a citizen. Maybe you shouldn't even have the right to vote anymore. Maybe you shouldn't. People like you are the problem. The empire is a solution. People like you are the problem. And this is why we fight. Some of you say, well, wait a minute, Lars, things go wrong. It's because of people like Wade. They're the ones who stop us. They're the ones who make things bad. They won't do what Michael will do. They won't do what Michael will do. Michael said it right. Michael said it right. He said, I will obey. Missy says it. Obedience is love. Of course. True. If you love your mother, don't you obey her? If you love your father, won't you obey him? If you love your empire, won't you obey? If you love your community, won't you obey? Libertarian Wade won't. Libertarian Wade won't. Just think about that. Think about that. Yes. Patricia says, artists use lies to tell the truth. Yes, I created a lie, but because you believed it, you found something true about yourself. Yes, I think you're right. I would just swap out the word artist instead to selfish dissidents who hate the empire. Yeah, I think when they create the lie and we see it within ourselves, we then can say to ourselves, you know what? Maybe I should have loved the empire more. Maybe I should have sacrificed more. Maybe I should have cared about my own community more. Maybe I should have cared more about the system and the government more. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe if I would have done that, I can learn to repent. And that's the key. Here is the glory of the empire. You can't repent. That's why I'm here. I'm here for you, Patty, and the friends who have walked down a terrible road. I am here for you to repent. Wade, I know I was strong on you, and I apologize. I probably shouldn't have been so strong with you. But I'm here. You can repent. I'm sure there's a re-education camp somewhere near you. You can check yourself in if you like, or I can have someone check you in if you like. You can spend some time, and you can learn. You can learn if you want to. And then things will change. Ryan says, comply or be dealt with. Yes, comply with love. Obedience is love. Missy said it. Obedience is love. That's it. Obedience is love. That's all that matters. Andrea says it, Ryan, resistance is futile. Correct. It is. Why would you? In the long run, the empire always wins. In the long run, we are just correct. That's how that works. I agree with that. I agree completely. And Andrea, I'm glad you're there. NW Connect says, Hail Caesar. It is the Christian way. It is the Christian way. I agree. It is absolutely the Christian way. So yes. Kinsugi says, sacrifice yourself for the greater good. You're just a cog in the machine. Well, see, you're exaggerating now. See, I get that you're joking. I get it. You don't want me to send anybody to your home. I know you're joking. You're joking, so it's fine. You're kidding. It's all good. Yes, of course. But we are a cog in the machine in a way. Something bigger than yourself. Look, how many times have you seen so many young men check out? So many young women feeling bad and horrible about themselves. The empire gives you something greater than yourself. It does. Support the empire. Love the empire. Yes, you'll be a cog in the machine. True, in a way, but you'll also be part of something bigger than yourself. You're probably lost right now. It's okay. The empire is there for you. It's there to make sure that you can be part of something bigger than yourself. You can do that. Is it sacrifice? Yes, it's sacrifice now, but it is for the greater good. The good of your community, the good of your nation, and actually the good of yourself. You'll be a better person. Turn yourself in, Wade. Turn yourself in. Kintsugi is correct. Turn yourself into a re-education camp. You'll be a better person for it. Your community will thank you. We will all thank you. Long live the empire. Trust the empire. Remember, this is an official Imperial Shortwave show, authorized, number 666. I apologize for whatever kind of power surge we were having, or I don't know what happened here. I know as I looked at it, it was like almost like a mirror thing I saw. It was kind of crazy how that saw that back and forth. But by the way, guys, there's another dissonant here that I'm bothered by that we are going to have to deal with also. I know I showed one. I have to show you another dissonant if I could. This one is, it's a group of people called the advocates. These people, I don't know how we haven't gotten them yet, probably because the people like Wade probably have wrecked it and made things worse. They have this way of making you think. Now, I need you to go over there. There's a link in the description of this show. It's authorized link. Use the authorized link. Otherwise, if you are caught on this site without going to the authorized link, you are a traitor. Let me say it again. If you're caught on this site without going through the empire, the imperial authorized link, you are a traitor. But go on there and look at what they talk about, these different ideas. They actually, there's a gun control survey. Can you believe that? Can you believe that someone could think something's wrong with gun control? You want to take this survey, the gun control survey, take it, and when you're done, share it. Let everyone know. Let everyone see it. When everybody sees it, now we can find them. When you figure out who's behind this, immediately report it. 666 Empire 1. The advocates, by using the link use the link that's in the description, or you will be a traitor. I don't want you getting caught up in this. You guys are loyal citizens, so stay loyal. You will be a traitor, so don't do that. Use the link I've given you. Go there, take the gun control survey, and then put it out. And everyone who sees it, 666 Empire 1. This is dangerous thoughts. We don't want this. Dangerous thoughts are harmful for everyone. One more time, click the link, only that link that's in the descriptions. If you do that, now you can help the empire. Show your loyalty by doing this. I know you care, or you wouldn't be watching this approved show if you didn't care. Remember, it's the gun control survey. Take that survey, share it. It does matter. All right. I'm also seeing people here on Rumble. Peace Logic here. $1 for compliance fee. I appreciate the support. This is important. I appreciate that. See, he understands that when you have a lot, it is your job, your responsibility to redistribute your wealth. If you won't, the empire will. You don't need the empire to do so. Do it yourself. If you want, the empire will redistribute your wealth, as it should. This is what I keep telling you. The empire provides. The empire provides safety, harmony, and of course, democracy. We can democratize everything. We can democratize your money, democratize your property, democratize our society, as we should. It's fair. It's fair. The empire is fair. Who else will do this? Who else will do this? Nobody else will. That's the issue. Nobody else will. Missy says, I sleep so good knowing I'm safe in the 666 Empire 1. See, she knows she can call and the empire will be there. Yes, she knows she will be. That's the point. I love that. I love that. K-John says, I'm living for the idea that someone stumbles in here for the first time and get either freaked out or totally turned on. Well, of course they'd get turned on. Of course they would, K-John. We're talking the truth. We're talking about the true value of an authoritarian state, a true value of an empire, right? I mean, think about it. The empire is so popular right now that people are fighting wars on our behalf. Think of what's happening, how we support our brothers who are fighting in Israel, in Syria, in Ukraine. We support them. Of course we do. And some people say, well, why should we be supporting them? If your neighbor's house is on fire, you wouldn't help put it out? How selfish of you. Of course you would. Of course we should. Absolutely. Absolutely. Phil says, Disney Star Wars is excellent. Av Sharpe. I'm not sure what Av Sharpe means. Look, here's the reality of Disney Star Wars. It is authorized by the empire and therefore is good. That's the issue. The empire would not put out something that's not good, right? Now, have some dissidents again snuck in something here? Yes, but those people were taken care of quickly. We take care of that. Art, as Missy mentions, art is made often to make people think the way they shouldn't think. The empire ensures it doesn't happen. The empire authorizes. Censorship is the reality. Censorship is what makes you safe, Phil. You don't know what's best. You're some guy. How can you? It's not fair. It is unfair for me, the empire, to assume that you know what's right for you. How can you? You're one person. But the censors are trained. They know how to protect you. They care about you. That's how you get safety. That's how you get harmony. They protect you from this to ensure you don't get things that are not going to be good, things that may affect your brain a certain way. They protect you from that. That's love. That's why you should obey. The empire loves you. You should love the empire. Obedience equals love. We discussed this already, Phil. We discussed this already. Dave says, resistance is futile. INGSOC will find you. Make sure your papers are in order. I'm not sure what this INGSOC thing is, but yes, your papers should be in order. I agree completely. Particularly those of you who are sitting here trying to talk about this big problem that we've had with these illegal aliens coming into our nation. These people are dissidents. They have to go. I know you're upset because it seems harsh. True, it does seem harsh, but I want you to ask yourself, how selfish are these people? Do they care about your family? When they come here, bringing all the stuff they bring? Do they care about your people? Why care about them? Citizens matter. The empire matters. Order matters. That's how we get safety and harmony. And how can we have a democracy if all these people just coming in here? How can we can't. Dave, you are right. Resistance is futile. Don't bother. Keep your papers in order. Don't get messed up in this world like these people do. We don't want these people around us. You know that, right? I know you agree with me, Dave. I know you all agree with me because that's the right answer. That's the right answer. Just so we're good. Phil goes on and says, be a good neighbor and pay your taxes. True. How can we support each other? How can we support the empire without taxation? How in the world can you have the civilization that you want without taxes? Do you think the empire would overtax you? Why would the empire overtax you? The empire is there to assist. Now, we're going to have separate taxation levels. Some of you say, Larry, but haven't we been talking about this horrible thing of taxing the rich even more and more? Of course we should. The evil capitalists are out there making things work terrible for you and not helping the empire out. How selfish are they for not giving at least half, if not 2/3 of their wealth away to the empire? Why wouldn't they? It is the empire that has allowed them to be great. It is the empire that has educated them. It is the empire that has defended their lines, that they've taken their lines of communication. It is the empire that has defended them. So why don't they give their money to the empire? Selfishness. This is where that libertarian Wade comes in. This is where the dissent comes in. Selfishness. These millionaires and billionaires, we haven't punished them enough yet. Don't worry, Phil. Their day is coming. It's coming. The empire has so many things it must handle. It can't punish everyone at the right time. It has to sometimes, move around here or there. But it's coming. You will watch it come. There's no way that they won't get theirs. Of course they will. Let's make sure we get that down. Okay. All righty. Michael says, when does Sulu attack? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know who the Sulu person is, but let's hope he won't. Yes. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. See, Phil gets it. Taxation is the price we pay to live in a civilized society. Yes. Yes. Do you want to feel safe? Of course you do. Do you want harmony? Of course you do. Do you want democratization of the entire country? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you want that? Taxation. That's how it works. 100%. Yes. Jay says, don't you want to be part of greatness? Of course you do. Yes. Thank you. Now you're getting it. The empire is the greatness that you can be. You can be great because of the empire. As the empire is great, you are great. As the empire grows, you grow. That's exactly right. John gets it. You guys are getting it. Thank you. Obedience is painless. True. Re-education is painful. However, Wade, I hope you're listening. Wade, while re-education is painful, it is. It is worth the pain. What's that saying? No pain, no gain. There we go. Re-education can be painful, but it's worth it because you're back being part of the team. You're back being you're in uniform again. Unity comes back to us, and unity is what matters, right? Yet again, it comes back. Unity matters, right? That piece is very important. So yes, Guys, I'm going to ask you. I know you want the empire to live for a long time. I know you do. I do too. Without it, what will we do? So show your loyalty. Press the button known as like. That shows your loyalty. For the glory of our empire, share this transmission. Share it out. Let other people see what's going on here. And if you really want to sacrifice, you really want to do the right thing, sacrifice for the greater good and join. $49 per month. That's what we do. That's how you join for the greater good. That's how you get things done. That's the reality. But no matter what, show your loyalty. I know you're loyal. Loyal to the empire. We know. Click that button. It's a way of doing things. Yes. NW Knox says, one people, one realm, one leader. True. Look, there can only be one leader. When you have more than one leader, what happens then? Chaos. Chaos. That's what happens. And people suffer. People suffer. How can you be so cruel to let people suffer when the empire says, don't suffer? We got you. What are you doing? But you have people like Wade who think they can go out and not have one leader and not have one people and not have one empire. That's what Wade thinks. And what does he do? What happens? Chaos. People are in pain. People suffer. That is the selfishness of guys like Wade. That is their selfishness. Michael says, I'm doing my part. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly right. Yes, 100%. Ryan says, all will bow before the empire. Don't they always in the long run? I mean, sometimes you find people who are silly. Ryan, is they're silly and they try to fight back. And, there's a part of me that thinks it's funny. There is. I know that's not, look, I'm human too, right? Even I can have some feelings and some thoughts here or there, but I always come back. I always come back to reality. We're human. We can stray. It's fine. You can stray, but come back to the empire. I stray sometimes. And I think to myself, it's kind of fun, these people who are, being rebels. It's kind of fun. These dissident people say things, speak their mind, right? Things like that. Say that the empire isn't perfect. Things like that. It's fun. It's fun. But then I come back to reality. And I realize how painful it is for people. How dangerous that talk is. That's dangerous talk. People are going to be hurt by that. People are going to be hurt. Missy says, the mighty goatee. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed my goatee. I do appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. Absolutely. See, Ganjin gets it. Stop resisting. You guys are getting it. I appreciate this. You're getting it. That's the whole point. Missy says it. More gun control laws now. Yes. Look, the next time someone is killed by a gun, it's your fault if you don't want this. You did it. You might as well pull the trigger. There's no difference. If you don't support all gun control, guns need to be only in the hands of responsible leaders, and Phil gets it. That's it. Responsible citizens determined by us, the empire. Correct. Rick knows the empire is the old good. How else? Look, you voted for it. The empire provides you with democracy. The empire says, here are the people that you can vote for. We say it right there. Here are the people you can vote for. We give you people to vote for who understand the system, who can get things done, who can help you and support you, of course, and you get to vote for them. How amazing is that? How awesome is that? We give you that. The empire provides you with so many things. And why are so many people so ungrateful? Why are they so ungrateful? It's shameful. It's shameful. Yes, it is. Phil says, my goal for the night is to get Larry to break character and laugh. I don't know what you're talking about, Phil. I appreciate the concept of making me laugh. I can laugh here and there. I can. Again, I can say silly things like, sometimes people want to speak their mind. That's funny. That's cute. It's cute. And even I can giggle. I have a sense of humor. Of course I do. Right? I laugh when people say things like, maybe we should all be able to defend ourselves. I mean, it's funny. It's just a joke. I like it. I mean, we know that's not how it works. The police are there. They're the ones who protect us. We know this, right? We know that obedience matters more than anything. We get that, right? But it's funny. I know the joke with that taxation theft thing. It's just jokes. I get it. It's funny. But that's it, right? I say it's a joke. I know it's a joke. And then I come back to reality, right? Then I come back to reality and understand that this is dangerous. The empire knows what's best for us. That's the piece. The empire knows what's best for us. And as long as we fall back into line, little joke here or there is good. See? Chase says, I like order. Don't we all? Don't we all? 100%. John knows taxes are the price we pay to live in a civilized and safe empire. Without it, how could we? Without it, how could we? Totally correct. You're getting it. You are getting it. Ryan says, tax the wealth until they pass out. I say we tax them until they're, look, it's not really, Ryan, I see where you're going, but let me tell you what this actually is. This is just democratizing profits. Isn't that what you want? Democracy. Don't we want democracy? Isn't it? This is what our founding fathers wanted. Remember, our founding fathers, they wanted democracy. Well, what's we're doing? We're democratizing profits. What's wrong with that? We're following what our founding fathers wanted. George Washington would love our empire. So would Thomas Jefferson. Of course they would. They want it. Jesus loves our empire. Jesus and our founding fathers all support the empire. They all talk about taxation. They all talk about democracy. Of course they do. So yes. So it isn't until they pass out. All we're doing is democratizing profits. That's not a bad thing, is it? Why do you hate democracy? Why would you hate democracy? Why do you hate our founding fathers? Why do you hate Washington, Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin? Why do you hate those people? I don't know why you hate those people. They're the ones who would want to democratize all these things. It's what they talked about. So Jay gets it. All hail the empire. Yes. Empire, you spelled it wrong. It's fine. It's totally fine. Yes. Andrew says it. What I have, I owe to the empire. Correct. Every one of those greedy people who made those companies and made those products and act like they did something amazing, they didn't build that. They didn't build that. The empire did. You did. You voted for that. You voted for that, so you built it. The empire built it. So why wouldn't we just take our profits back? Why is that so wrong? Why is that so wrong? All you people don't want to. Why is it so wrong? I don't know why you love oligarchs who hate you. They take all your money. Terrible. Terrible. You are correct. I wish more people were here. Wade has come. Wade, everyone loves a sinner who's come home. He says, I'm here and I hear. Maybe I won't have to make that call after all, Wade. Times like this make me understand that this show is worth all the time and energy I put into it. Wade, you make it worth my time. The Imperial Shortwave Show is winning yet again. Bringing more people back to the empire. I know sometimes it becomes challenging. I know it does. But the empire does provide. Trust the system and people like Wade will come back again and again and again. You have made my night. This is exactly why I do what I do. This is why I'm on every single night at 7 p.m. Imperial time. This is why I do what I do. This is why I keep telling people that this is the way of the future. Trust the empire. Trust the system. It provides. Of course it will. But again, as powerful as it isn't perfect. It is still made of average, everyday people trying their best to do the right thing. It's true. It is. It's absolutely true. With that, we sometimes still have dissonance. We do. And I'm going to grab one more time. There's that counter-insurgency that drives me crazy. Drives me insane. Remember, when you hear them, report them. 666 Empire 1. Again, it's the same. I bring it up again because it's so bad. Civil. These people at Civil, they are an embarrassment. We have to stop them. Okay, guys, you're asking why I'm doing this. I report to the empire too. I do too. And every time these Civil people start putting out more and more content, I get phone calls. I don't want these phone calls coming to me anymore, okay? I want us to get rid of these people. Head on over, civil.com. And when you go on and sign up, here's the thing. Don't you dare sign up without using code Larry. Otherwise, you will be caught up when we crush them finally. When we destroy Civil finally, you'll be on that list. And when the camps come, you'll be in that camp. So don't go to the camp, put code Larry. That's how you get out of the camp. Your name will be on the Larry list and you'll be safe. When you go on civl.com, put in the code LARRY, get 50% off on top of it, and you can go and watch. This is some of the terrible stuff that they are showing you. This is someone from some place called Reason, which is another dissident group, which we should be avoiding at all costs. Talking about some guy about freedom requiring virtue.
Manga Award, welcome to Dad Saves America.
I'm thrilled to be here.
So
Look at her. Screaming dissident. Screaming traitor. 666 Empire 1.
We have circled each other for like 15 plus years and never actually.
Because they can't. See, these type of terrorist cells, they can't always talk because they'll get caught by our secret police, as they should. So they bounce around trying to catch each other, and they do these types of things in the secret. And it comes out in places like Civil.
I don't think had a conversation. So I'm really excited about this.
Of course he is.
You have written things that I'm sympathetic to, but will sound utterly radical to most people.
Yes, see, they admit how radical they are. On Civil, they admit how radical they are. Don't let them get away with it. CIVL.com, code Larry, just so you don't get caught. Go on, see what you see here, and share this. M666 Empire 1. Shut these people down. They're open radicals. They said it. From their own words, they will say how radical they are. This is dangerous to the empire. This speech is dangerous. Don't let it happen anymore. This is your responsibility now. This is your responsibility now. I've told you. Long live the empire. All right, let me grab some more of these if I can keep going down here. All righty. Listen, Missy says, pay your fair tax with Super Chat. Look, we got to make taxation fairer. I agree. Yes. Patty says under his eye. I love, you know what? That's wonderful. Yes, I love that. Let's use that saying, under his eye. Because we know that Jesus has supported the empire. We know this to be true. And the Holy Spirit goes through all of the imperial bureaucrats, right? The Holy Spirit goes through all of the imperial bureaucrats. Of course it does. So in reality, when you are paying your taxes, when you are paying your fines and your fees, you are doing it under his eye. You're right, Patty. I love how you're getting this. These types of shows, when it's this good, I mean, so good. John says, what's your opinion of some of our current empire leaders, like Pelosi, Schumer, and Trump? Look, the reality of it is, these people are fighting for us to the best of their ability. Of course they are. They fight dissidents too, as we all do. They fight dissidents also. But of course, you have to trust the system. That's the issue, right? Think of all the experience people like Pelosi, Schumer, and Trump have. Decades and decades of experience. This experience is how we can be sure that they're leading us with a fine hand. Of course. Remember those stories about how Biden wasn't good? You know those are all just lies. Of course, Biden was leading us with a fine hand to the best of his ability. Of course he was. You know that. So's Trump. Of course he is. Pelosi and Schumer, look, when every morning, I'm sure, when Pelosi and Schumer wake up, the first thing they think of is, how can I make the people, citizens of my empire better? Of course they think that every single day. Of course they do. They have, again, decades and decades and decades of experience. Decades of supporting the people and growing the empire. The empire has grown massively under them, hasn't it? Haven't you seen the massiveness of the empire grow since then? It's grown massively. Tax base has grown massively. Spending has grown insanely high. Our Fed has done great. And we know with modern monetary theory that that's good for us. They have taught us this, right? Trump came on board. Now he's spending more too. With modern monetary theory, we know that it is good to spend a lot. It is helpful for our citizens. It helps to create the harmony I've been talking about. It helps to create all these things. And to be forward, we have to fight some of these wars, John. Now look, Biden was very savvy. Of course he was. He was a great leader for us. He was one of our best. Biden actually said, let's fight these wars without Americans. And then, of course, we have some of our greatest leaders, of course, in people like Lindsey Graham, who has been very forward, saying, look, it's just great money we're spending fighting in Ukraine because American citizens aren't dying. Do you see how savvy they are, John? They're savvy. This is why I was saying these things, like with Phil. Phil can't be expected. John, you can't be expected to know better. You haven't been trained the way these people have. You don't have the experience they have. You haven't gone through all the imperial knowledge they've gotten. You haven't gone through this. So how would you possibly know? How could you know? You can't. No one's mad at you, John, for being ignorant. No one's mad at Phil for being ignorant. We're not mad at you. Nobody is. The empire understands you're a regular person. You haven't been through what these great leaders have been through. Lindsey Graham, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, right? Joe Biden, Donald Trump. All these people have been through it. They understand how the empire works. They know that growing the empire is what matters. Constant growth is what gives us the safety, right? That gives us the safety. Making sure that you have competent leaders and they choose who you vote for. Why does that matter? To make sure we have a safe democracy. How can you protect democracy? You've seen democracy fail throughout the entire world. You've watched it. It hasn't failed here. Why? People like Pelosi, people like Schumer, people like Joe Biden, Donald Trump. They've made sure that democracy hasn't failed because they pick who we're going to vote for. You can't be expected to know that. I get that. So, of course, they're doing the best they can to make sure that the empire grows. Right? It's obvious. I mean, I'm sure you know this. I'm sure you know this. Just saying it. So yeah, let me keep moving down this road if I can. All right. Ganjin says the citizens of the empire must be entertained. We shall have monthly Mortal Kombat tournaments with fighters already on death row. Look, the reality of it is, if you're a prisoner, you're a prisoner. All right. I mean, is the system going to get it wrong? Stop. Right? I mean, stop. Literally, these people are pleading. They're agreeing how guilty they are. 90% of them are. So the cops aren't ever wrong. Of course, we know this also to be true. It's so obvious, Genjin. But not just that. When you go to trial, it's a jury of your peers. As our founding fathers said, our founding fathers wanted people in jail. It's clear. They set up a jury system to put you in jail and a police system to put you in jail. Yes. So look, once you're in jail, you lose your rights. And if you're going to be on death row, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what? I'm about repenting. And so are we. The system is about repenting. Let them fight on death row, and those who win, lifetime imprisonment instead. What? Not a bad idea, Ganjin. I like it. I'm with you. You get it. You understand how it works and what the founding fathers wanted. You know what the founding fathers wanted. So do I. They would have loved that idea. Of course they would have. Peace Logic, a member for 6 months. As you can see, Peace Logic is compliant. Very nice. As a member, I understand the need for peace. Yes, logic is necessary for a civil world. There can only be one. True. This is why the American hegemony, the American empire, this is why the empire is that important. Peace gets it. This is why we have to fight. Larry, why are we always at war? Larry, why are we always at war? Because people want to take down our empire. That's why. They're jealous of our freedoms. They are jealous of our freedoms. So they want to fight us because they're jealous of our freedoms. I get it. They hate us because we're free. That's the reason why. We know the empire allows us to be free. The empire allows us to be free. And they hate it. They fight us. It can only be one. They want to take us down, but they can't. Kajon says, $2, thank you. Here's my first tax payment. More to come, not optional. I appreciate that. I get that you understand how it has to work. Good. Again, obedience is love. We've expressed this already. Obedience is love. True. Very true. I'm very glad we're sitting here on this show today. This show has been very good so far. I'm so happy how big it is. Yes. Mastermind says, I think Jesus went ham on money changers. Yes. Greedy bankers. See, you understand how the empire has to crush these bankers. The only bank that can do anything really is the central bank. We need a central bank for us to survive. That's how empires thrive. And the founding fathers knew this, right? They knew this. Jesus knew it too. That's why he's trashed all the money changers. He was like, there's no centralized bank. You guys are getting in the way. We need a centralized bank. And Caesar should have one. See? Jesus loved the Fed. If you want to end the Fed, why do you hate Jesus? Why are you anti-Christian? And you know what? Jesus was Jewish. Why are you anti-Semitic? You don't like the Fed? You're anti-Semite. That's you. All you people who hate the Fed, anti-Christian, anti-Jewish, hate Jesus, anti-Semites. That's you. So you've just done. You're right, Mastermind. I'm glad you get it. I'm glad some people are getting it. Modern monetary theory is clearly the answer. That's how we grow. And we see growing and growing and growing. There's no stopping it. What could go wrong? Nothing, obviously. It's so obvious that's true. So yes, 100%. Patty says, one act of obedience is better than 100 sermons. True. Now, I do sermons, Patty, but I'm also obedient. I am obedient. You have seen me more and more of them. You've seen me talk about these dissidents, trying to get rid of them. I want to get rid of these dissidents. They're the ones who are hurting us. They're the ones who are making mistakes. And you've seen me pull people back into the fold. More than once. If you've been watching this show, if you've been watching, and I hope you guys have all been watching the Imperial Sharpe Way. I hope you have. It is authorized by the Empire. So you can watch all 665 previous shows. If you've been watching me pull people in. You have been watching me pull people in and make things better and better and better. And if you like it, then, as I tell you all the time, show your loyalty by clicking the like button. For the glory of the Empire, share this. And if you want to sacrifice for the greater good, you can. 499. That's how you sacrifice for the greater good. Do you care enough? Do you care enough? Or you just talk? Or you just talk? Maybe. I hope not. Ryan says, everything for the greater glory of the Empire. True. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yes. 100%. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. Massman says, obedience is freedom. Ministry of truth. Yes. And this is the piece that I want you to understand, right? When you are obedient, you are free. I want you to imagine this for a second. Think about your life. When you've had tough times in your life, what was the toughest time? The toughest time in your life was when you had so many hard decisions to make. What do I do about this? What do I do about that? How do I deal with this? What do I do about that? How do I deal with this? The Empire takes it away from you. You don't need that anymore. It takes away your choice. It takes away your worry. It takes away your fear. You are free from all of those things. You are free from those sinful ideas. You are free from that sinful ideation. I keep telling you, the Empire is love. The Empire is Christianity. It is. And when you say to yourself, well, I don't want to obey, I want to be free, you are saying, I want to sin. You are saying, I want to sin. Why would you want to sin? Don't you care about your soul? The Empire protects your soul. The Empire protects your soul. And here, you want to sit here and you get it. You get it. I agree. Ryan goes on to say, reason's very dangerous. They got to be stopped. True. Empire, 666 Empire 1. Yes, they must be stopped. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Mastermind says, thank goodness they have purple hair. We can spot them from afar. There's a lot of them with colored hair. You're right. These dissidents, a lot of them. Purple's a big one. Blue, big one also. Watch out for these people. Watch out for them. Now, to be clear, some of them are trying to blend in to get into the, there's a lot of cells, right? You see how they work. You saw on that last video from Civil. They work in cells. There's a lot of them working in cells. Some are trying to get in. So all I would say is when you see it, don't do anything yourself, Mastermind. I know you care about the Empire and you're loyal and you want to jump out and make things happen. Don't do that. Call Empire 666 Empire 1 and let's have the police handle it, okay? They will know whether it's a sting operation or not. They will know. That's all I'm saying. They will know. Move on from there. So yes, he goes back on to say taxation is patriotism. True. Yes, of course. You want to sacrifice. Of course you do. You're not selfish. You aren't selfish. You want to do it. Of course you do. Yes. Peace over on Rumble says, thank you for the $1. I would like to report my VA lady. She is sufficiently compliant. I fear she may be a spy. Recommend a compliance and education review as periodically needed. Perhaps a donation can clear this matter. You know, I have noticed how compliant she has been. Generally speaking, I think that's a good thing. But I guess there is Maybe. You're making me think, Peace Logic. Maybe someone can be too compliant. I'm not sure. I appreciate the thought. I do. I appreciate the thought. See, guys like Peace, these are the people who we need to be looking around because they think just enough outside the box, like the dissidents who they outside. Wait a minute, they think outside. Peace. You're thinking outside the box too. That's not healthy. That's not compliant. That's suspicious. Are you trying to put something on her that should be on you? Peace. And paying your way through it? Are you one of those wealthy oligarchs? 666 Empire 1, Peace. Maybe you're the one I should be looking at. Pushing on other people. See, this is why we collapse, because we fight amongst ourselves, because we let dissidents break our unity. We let dissidents break our unity. No, Peace, I won't fall for it. I won't. Andrea, make the people afraid to transgress by intimidating with capital punishment is a superficial policy. Yeah, make the people afraid to transgress by intimidating with capital punishment. Yeah, I agree. Look, Andrea, I don't want you to comply because you're afraid of being beaten. I don't want you to comply and follow the empire because you're afraid of being imprisoned. Don't get me wrong. You should be beaten and imprisoned if you do that. Of course you should be. But that's not what I want you to be afraid of. I want you to understand something. I want you to understand that you should do it because it's right. Because you're selfish if you don't. Because you're a bad person if you don't. Because you're anti-Semitic if you don't. Because you're anti-Christian if you don't. Because you're anti-community if you don't. The empire is all those things. And when you shun the empire, you shun all of those things. You shun your family. You shun your friends. You shun your community. You shun the world. You shun Christianity. You shun the world. Now, of course, you should still be put in prison and beaten. There should be fear. You might say, well, why do we have to have fear? Well, to be forward, to keep people in check, to keep the harmony that I've been talking about, to keep all things I've been talking about. Fear must be maintained or the empire is doomed. That's how it works. And the empire is what keeps us together. This is what keeps us together. It is the empire. So, yeah. Juan for Freedom became a YouTube member. Thank you, Juan. You mean freedom from, obviously. He means freedom from is what he means. Not freedom in general. He means freedom from. Well done, Juan. I appreciate you. Glad you came aboard. These are the days that I love. These are the days I love so much. Yes. Dave says, give to the empire what belongs to the empire, and to God what belongs to God, unless that also belongs to the empire. Well, look, to be forward, the empire supports God, and therefore God supports the empire. So they are often one and the other. I think that's true. We do know that God is on our side, right? I mean, we're aware of this, right? That God's on our side, right? The other sides are clearly godless. We're aware of this. That's how that works. So yeah, that's true. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So, alrighty. Let me grab some more of these. Let's see here. Oh, hold on. We have another one here. This is Ray from Nowhere, $5. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, G-O. I don't know where that comes from. Not sure where that comes from. I thank you. Don't know where that comes from. I hope that's not dissonant stuff. I hope it isn't. We'll see. So yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Shelly says, I can't fight the thought of how painful taking off the goatee will be. I'll just shave my goatee when I need to shave my real goatee, which is totally real. I'll just shave it when the time comes. That's all. No big deal. Mastermind says, what could possibly go? What could go wrong? Exactly. What could go wrong? Nothing. Yes. Phil says they hate us because they ain't us. True. True. That's the problem. That's the reason why. Yes. Kintsugi says, Cage, you loyal subject. She is. Good. Patty says, the fair leader AOC is going to be my city on Sunday. I should go and curtsy to her. As you should. True. Look. AOC has had problems. She has fought against the empire and joined the empire. Right? She has done both. Luckily, she has come home. She's come home. And again, everyone loves to sin and come home. AOC has come home. She used to talk radical stuff, whatever. Now she's back home. She understands where she needs to be. I'm glad she's back home. I'm glad she understands. I'm glad she's gone back into where she needs to go. Of course. Yes. Alrighty. Phil says the thing that YouTube doesn't like. And yes, look, let's be forward. When it comes to taking medicine, I'll use that phrase. I'm taking medicine. Who are you going to trust, Phil? Some local doctor or a federal agency? Clearly, the empire knows what's best. Think of all the doctors who work at a federal agency. Think of all the doctors who work for the empire. Hundreds, thousands of them. You going to trust them? Of course you are. Versus some local doctor who knows you. Let's be real. Trust the science. Trust the empire. The empire knows. The empire provides. Trust the system. So, yeah, I think we know about that. I think we're good on that. We get that. I think we do. I hope you get that at least. It makes total sense. So, yes. Okay. Let me keep going down here if I could. All righty. Michael says 55 minutes without breaking character. And he also goes to, I don't know who you're talking about. Who's breaking character? I'm not sure where you are. In any case, I'm glad you're here. Let's keep going. I'm not sure where you're going with that one, but yes, I'm glad you're here. Ganjan says children that skip be sent to a detention center in El Salvador for empire education. Look, some of you get upset. I've seen this before. Some of you get upset about the idea of sending people to camps. I get it. The look isn't always good. True. But you're going to make an omelet. You got to crack some eggs. You want to protect citizens. You can't worry about the people who are not citizens. You just can't. It's how it works. The empire's job, Ganjan, is to provide what I've been saying. Safety, harmony, democracy. That's what it's been saying. We voted with the two approved candidates. That's who we voted with, two approved candidates. We voted, and we got our two approved candidates, and one of them was elected. The system worked exactly how it's supposed to work. The empire provided, as it said it would, to give us democracy. And the person who won said they wanted to support us and support citizens. And to do that, they would deport non-citizens. What's wrong with that? This is what the empire provides. This is what we're asking for. This is the empire. I know it looks bad, but it's clearly the right answer. Of course. Of course. Absolutely. Of course. So, all righty. Jesse says, are you still a libertarian? Did you quit for money or was it because you lost the VP nomination? Jesse, how dare you insult me? How dare you insult me and call me a horrible libertarian? How dare you insult me? 666 Empire 1 for Mr. Jesse Smith. How dare him do that? I hope you're joking. I tell you what, you can talk to the authorities when they knock on your door and tell them if you're joking. For your sake, I hope they believe you. If they don't, maybe you'll be joining someone in El Salvador at a re-education camp. So, yeah, maybe. Joel says, methinks she doth comply too much. Maybe, yes, maybe she does. Case John says, OS, I have pink and purple hair. Case John, are you a dissident? Maybe you are. Mastermind Hour says, calling your local law enforcement is always a good idea. True. Or 666 Empire 1. Either is good. Yes, I would bet either of them. Yes. I'm with you on that, 100%. So, talking about dissidents, I know I've been talking about a lot. I have. But there's one more I want to talk about if I could. One more. And it's been bugging me because I get the calls and I get worried, right? I do. And again, it's the advocates. The advocates have this other survey, which I want you to look at. Now, again, when you go on the advocates, make sure when you go there that you only go through the link that I provided. If you don't go through that link, then when they break the advocates up, as they should, you will be one of the people who are harmed. Look right now, and what you see is the government, debt, money, and monetary policy. There are so many people who think the Fed is bad. This is terrible to even think something like that. This concept is silly. MMT is obviously real, and that's how the nation grows. As the nation continues to grow through MMT, we grow. As the empire grows, you grow. That's how it works. So go to this government, debt, money, and policy, monetary policy. Take the survey, you'll clearly come out authoritarian, as you should. And when you're done taking that survey, because I know you support the Fed, as all good Christians and all good founding father supporters would support it, because that's how it works. We'll support the Fed. When you do that, share it, and then hopefully people will find out who they are. Click the 666 Empire 1 phone and get these people and get rid of them. It's theadvocates.org. It's the link that I gave you. Please go through that link only so you're not considered dissident. Take this survey and share it so we can stop these people once and for all. Stop them once and for all. All right. Let me grab some of these comments if I could. All right. Yeah, I will grab some more of these. All righty. Phil says, there is no God but the empire. That's not true. Kintui gets it right. God's on the empire side, obviously. Therefore, obey. Correct. Right? Correct. Obviously, it's true. So, yeah, that's the whole piece. Obviously, it's true. Yes. Joel says, keep in mind, positive empire comments improve your social score. True. Joel, I didn't want to say that because I didn't want you doing it because of that. I hope you actually love the empire. But you're right. The more positive your comments on the empire are, the higher your social score. And a less chance that you'll have to worry about things like getting a loan, buying a house. You have any problems with that, any of those things. Your credit card, you still got credit cards, all those things will be okay. And if score goes too low, you can't vote. So you like to keep voting with the approved candidates they give you. So keep your social score high. It does matter, right? That's it. Just keep your social score high. It does matter. So yes. All righty. Okay. Let me keep going. Let's see here. Ganjan says, waterboarding is an awesome imperial tool for conformity. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, Ganjan. That's the point. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? That's my only point. Sometimes you just have to. There's no way around it. It does matter. We do have to be able to make things happen. And when dissidents don't want to hear it, it's terrible. So, yes. Mike Voss in the house. He says, Dark Larry. Oh, I like that, Dark Larry. I like that. Too few have selected their neighbor, a heretic, obviously, to be purged. Too many think their neighbor is loyal. Tell them the proper answer to the poll. Oh, is there a poll again? Okay, I'm sorry. And look at the poll. I don't always see the poll. Let me check the poll, and I'll give you my opinion on this. Hold on. The poll is, as loyal citizens of the empire, you will obey. Is your neighbor, on threat of interrogation, 1, a loyal citizen, barely speaks up. Questionable, libertarian parents. Libertarian parents, super questionable. 100%, that's correct. Totally, very sus. Dangerous, quotes the Constitution. Yeah, see? Mike, you're getting it. Socialist, burn the heretic. Yeah, it's good. Guys, vote on that and pick the one you think's appropriate. And if you have those neighbors who are in trouble, remember, 666 Empire 1. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Right, Missy's there. Report disobedience. 666 Empire 1. That's what matters. Don't forget that, please. Yes. All righty. Juan says, you're right. It's Juan from Freedom. Freedom is too difficult and selfish. Thank you. He gets it. Juan gets it. Why would you want to have freedom when it's so hard? Why would you want to be so selfish? The empire knows. Juan gets it. Well done. Yes. Ryan says, re-education camp for just yes. Straight to re-education camp. Maybe El Salvador. Yes. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. So good. So, all righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. There are a lot of these. I appreciate all of these comments. So, Joel says, my neighbor received double rations last week. I called 666 Empire 1. Another unit next door is empty. See, look. The empire knows how much you should get. And if someone gets double rations, what's going on there? Are they harboring someone? Now you might go, Larry, why does it matter if someone harbors someone? It's their property. It's their money. Why should I care? What do you mean, why should I care? They're harboring someone against the law. They're breaking the law. The laws are always right and just. It's the empire. Laws are written by people who we vote for. Laws are written by people who we vote for, who have experience in government. What's your problem? Why do you hate the founding fathers? Why do you hate our founders? They set this system up perfectly. There's no problems at all. Why will you hate our founders? The people who we vote for, the approved people who the parties give us to vote for, right? Clearly, those people are educated in imperial schools. Clearly, these people have experience in the imperial bureaucracy, so they know what's right for us. They make laws that are right for us. They're never wrong. Why would they be wrong? They're good laws. We vote. It's democracy. The empire provides democracy for us, and the laws provide safety and harmony. That's why. So obvious, people. Thank you, Joel, for understanding how this works. Thank you, Joel, for understanding how this works. Yes. Kintsugi says you're not devout until you support the Fed. True. True. Absolutely. Jesus couldn't stand the money changers because he knew they would upset the Fed. That's the whole purpose. We know the story. It's like have you not read the Bible? Like, have you not read it? Do you not understand the stories? The empire's been clear on this. That's how it works. Andrea says, the empire made me a better citizen, as it does for us all. If you trust the empire. If you trust the empire, that's what will happen. If you trust the empire. That's the only way. Yes. So, just saying it. P says, I recommend calling it the love camp. Oh, that's so good. Peace, that's because it is love. Because I want you to think about this. If you are sitting here right now, saying, I have so many options in my life, you're actually struggling. You're actually struggling right now. If you're saying, do I want to be free? I want to do what I want, when I want, how I want. You're struggling right now. You are in a state of chaos. You may be harming yourself or your community and not even knowing it. But then here comes peace. Hey, make you off to this love camp. You don't know any better. You don't know. And how could you? How could you know how to run your life? Right? You can't. How can you know how to run your life? There's no way you can. Instead, the empire does. It knows how to run your life, and it will. It knows how to run your life. It will run your life. Well, and you go to the camp, and when you come out, you are no longer going to have that problem. And if you don't have that problem anymore, that's love, isn't it? It's a love camp. Love camp. Joel says, I miss my parents, but they had to be taught a lesson. See, this is true sacrifice, Joel. You should be very proud of yourself. Very proud of yourself. Because to his point, to Peace's point, you showed something. That you love your parents. That they must be taught a lesson. And they're going to get it now. They're going to get that lesson taught to them because of your love, because of your sacrifice. You have proven how altruistic you are. You're not selfish. You're not at all. You help them. You show them love. Peace is right. You know what we should? I'm gonna submit. I'll go through the proper channels, obviously. I will submit that we change the name of the camps and re-education camps to love camps. I think it's brilliant. This show does such good for so many people. It does such good for so many people. Yes, I'm going to submit it to the proper channels, to the bureaucracy, that we change this from re-education camps to love camps. And Joel has been the one who showed me the way. Joel and Peace together. This show's amazing that they've actually done this. I love that. So good. So good. Well, your parents should return, I assume. When they return, they'll be better for it. And they'll be freer, right? I mean, to be forward, their work will set them free. And there's never been anything that's been wrong with that sentence ever. Their work will set them free. So I think that's great. And yeah, let's do that. I love that tremendously. I love that. Andrea says, obviously we need to follow the empire rules because we don't know what's best for us. True. Andrea, look, how can you? I can't be mad at you. You're one person. You haven't been trained by government schools. You've been trained. You don't have a doctorate. You don't have, tens of years, dozens of decades of years of training in the bureaucracy. You don't know. Of course you don't. Of course you don't. The empire does know. The empire does know. And that's the issue. Yes, right? Phil says, why do you worry about cameras if you don't have anything to hide? Exactly right. The surveillance state that people get so mad about. I hear all the time, it's my privacy, it's my privacy. I hear that, like, look, your privacy, what about criminals? What about criminals? It's your privacy until somebody robs somebody and now the cops will go get them and seek out justice. Is justice less important than your privacy? How selfish are you? This goes back to those crazy people like Wade, who I'm glad has come back home. People like Wade, dissidents like Jesse, who's out there thinking libertarian, that kind of stuff. These people are wrecking our society. You get it, Phil. You get it. Why? You've nothing to hide, so have a camera. Who cares? Why are you mad? I don't understand that. Yes, exactly correct. If you have anything to hide, look, the cameras are everywhere. Cameras are right here. Cameras everywhere. I hope the cameras got that freaking weird power outage we had. That was weird what happened earlier. But anyway, whatever the case may be, right? That piece is important. So yes, Joel says cavity searches are proof the empire cares. Yes. Now you might go, wait a minute, Larry. Cavity searches, that's kind of tough. It is. However, look, your cavity search may be a problem for you at the time. But imagine what happens if all of a sudden people think they can just, these dissidents who are already having meetings in crazy places. You saw it. They said it on Civil. They said it with their own words on Civil. They got to get through each other, bounce around. You know they got stuff in their cavities. You know they would. But now that we know there will be cavity searches, they can't do that anymore. Lives will be saved because Joel will have a cavity search. Joel, you are so altruistic. You should be very proud of yourself. Very proud of yourself. Sacrificing your cavities, sacrificing your parents for the greater good of the empire. You should be very proud of yourself, Joel. You are an amazing citizen. More people should be like Joel. If you're sitting here saying, well, I haven't sacrificed my cavities, look at Joel. He did. I haven't sacrificed my parents. Look at Joel. He did. There is the citizen we should be looking at right there. Sacrifice is what matters. Sacrifice for the people around you. Sacrifice for your community. Sacrifice for your empire, which gives you everything. It gives you everything. And you won't even sacrifice your cavities? How selfish, how ungrateful are you? How ungrateful are you? Kintsugi says it. Good job, Joel. Give this man a raise. Now go what up to the raise. Don't go crazy with that. But yes, well done, Joel. Well done. We should all be this way. We should, yes, I wish more of us were this way. Correct. Rick says, we need to spread the love. See, maybe we should have more people doing it. Yeah, maybe. I'm looking over at Rumble. Peace Logic says, the previous message was a test of the emergency education system. This is only a test. We appreciate your cooperation. And my VA lady, this was only a test. 666 Empire 1 to report disadvantage with love. Oh, okay, you were just testing. That's good. It's a good test. Okay, that's fine. Look, the Empire does tests too to make sure people are loyal. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to do that. That's correct. Yes, 100%. It's good. Phil says, I can feel the love tonight. Me too. This is a wonderful show, isn't it? People are coming home. People are having good ideas. People are coming home. All those things are amazing. I love how this is working. Yes. John says, privacy, private property, individualism. These unicorn terms will bring a plague upon our society. See, you have read the handbook. And some of you haven't, but John has. I know Joel has. Clearly he has. Some of you haven't, John has. That's true. That's true. How can you bring democracy to your community if you have private property? How can you not be selfish with individualism? Of course you can be selfish. This capitalism idea, stupid. Stupid. Libertarianism, stupid. Why would you do that? Proving you are selfish, proving you are mean, you are anti-Christian, anti-founders, anti-American, anti all the things. The reality of it is privacy, private property, individualism, these are dangerous. When you hear people talking about them in any positive way at all, 666 Empire 1. Any way at all. If you need the things to be happy, that's why the empire is here. Safety, harmony, democracy. That's what it brings. Individualism and private property. How can I democratize things if everyone's individual? Right? How can I democratize things if there's private property? Yes, Absolutely. Ganchin says blocking your webcam is an imperial felony. Why? Because the empire cares what you do behind closed doors. Not just that. I mean, you're right, but not just that. I'll go right back to what was said earlier. If you're not doing anything wrong, why are you covering your camera? Why are you covering your camera? Exactly right. I completely agree. P says, luckily we have algorithms to detect disobedience before you violate. If you're having a bad thought, you can voluntarily submit to love camp. See, this is the part we don't do enough of. We don't do enough. You know what? You're bringing up some great points, Peace. I think you work for the empire. Amazing. Good job that you do. I didn't realize you're probably a bureaucrat. I mean, I'm a contractor for the empire, but I think you might actually be an actual bureaucrat, and I love this. The idea of being able to voluntarily submit to the love camp, I mean, that shows you're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the curve, right? Joel had to submit his own parents. They should have submit themselves. I'm just saying. They should have submit themselves. And they didn't. Luckily, he was able to do so. That's all I'm saying. Luckily, he was able to do so. Phil says, Lockheed, Raytheon, and Halliburton upside again. Look, I got to be clear. There's a lot of bad companies out there. There are. It's true. But you look at companies like Lockheed, Raytheon, and Halliburton. Here's the issue. They support the empire. These are loyal companies, not upstanding. These are loyal companies. These companies sacrifice for the greater good. Do you understand the amount of hardware they put out to protect your freedom, Phil? To protect your freedom? Do you know how much hardware they put out for that? They work hard. Day and night, these companies do. Sacrificing themselves for your freedom. So you can be free. So Andrea can be free. Even so Wade can be free. And that dissident Jesse can be free. They sacrifice and put out so much hardware so that they can do that. And the best part is they do it smartly. Right now, we're fighting in like 4 countries, and American citizens aren't dying. And we all know that American citizen lives are all that matter. If you're an American citizen, your life doesn't matter. We know this. We accept this as true. We know that American citizens are more important. So yes, of course, Lockheed, Raytheon, Halliburton go out of their way to support us, keep us safe, and to make sure that the people who are dying across the world aren't American citizens. Isn't that great? We should be very happy we had them. Phil, thank you for saying that. Thank you for putting that out there. And the best part is they also have sensors, which is great. I love that. These are the things that are important. Phil, you get it, man. Like, you get it. You get it. And I love that people are getting it. So, yes. Okay. Alrighty. Shelly says, I'm sorry, but I'm shocked at 2 things. Larry staying in his role so long and no mention of Queen Kathy. Look at that. Look. I have to be clear about a couple things. I know some people get upset with Kathy Hochul. I know. But here's the thing to remember. It's important. She was one of the 2 authorized candidates for us to vote for. They wouldn't have put her there for us to vote for if they didn't know how competent she was. You have to trust the system, Shelley. That's the issue. You have to trust it. They put her there for us to vote for because they knew that she was competent and savvy and had been through this. You know how much experience she has? She has decades of experience in the New York bureaucracy. Who better? Who better to lead the system? Who better? Experience matters. It does. That's all I'm saying. Experience matters. That's an important piece. And I think we should be worried about that. What I'm going to ask you is if you really care about the loyalty to the empire and to this show, which is authorized by the empire, click the button known as like for your loyalty. Share this transmission for the glory of the empire. These things matter. The more you share, the more people get to see the love, the more people get to see how this works and the value of this system. That's what matters more than anything else. That's the true value of this. All right, guys. I'm so happy that we had this wonderful time together. And what I want you to understand is after this transmission is done, the empire likes to look at and see what you've said and what you've put down. Because that's true, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you, after this transmission is done, to comment on this page what the empire has done for you. What has the empire done for you? That's what I want you to comment, and what you're thankful for on what it's done for you. I think that's important if you can do that. And if you have failed and you missed this live, you can repent by watching one of the videos that pops up right here. If you want to pop up one of these two, watch one of those. You can repent if you do so. I am very happy that you are authorized to watch this, and I will see you all very soon. Long live the empire.